Well, I'm going out west where I belong, where the days are short and the nights are long. And I'll walk a little walk, I'll twist a little twist, I'll shimmy a little shimmy, I'll fly a little fly. Yeah, we're out here having fun in the warm California sun with the Asbury Motorsports Car Challenge Series. Coming at you live, multi-class racing, Skippies, MX-5s, and SRFs sliding around the track for round 6 of 12 in this inaugural season. Watch it all now from Green Flag to Victory Donuts live as it happens here on the global SimRacing channel. Now, amidst all the chaos that is the iRacing Daytona Rolex 24, the Golden State beckons for another GSRC broadcast with yours truly, Sean Ambrose, and my booth mate, Dawson Never Say Die Brock. And sitting on the pit lane for us today, following the action, Joseph Ringrose, hanging out there, taking in the scenery and the beautiful weather, and ready to help us out here with just a call there. So behind the scenes, it's the hardest working man in sim racing broadcasting, Joe Peak, armed with cameras, located, aimed, and zoomed and focused by our GSRC camera guru, Dougie Beard. So with all of that out of the way, let me bring in my old buddy Dawson. We were waxing poetic about a series that he used to run in here before the broadcast, but he is here at Laguna Seca with us today, a perfect place for mixed class racing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it, buddy?
Absolutely. Well, Laguna Seca was originally built by the Army Corps of Engineers. It's a classic North American road racing circuit. It's located just a few miles off the coast of Central California near Monterey and the famous Pebble Beach golf course. The name Laguna Seca means dry lake in Spanish, and looking at all the sand around the track, the name is very appropriate. Its 2.2-mile layout has an elevation change that is equal to an 18-story building. Its iconic corkscrew will provide plenty of incidents throughout the day. But as always, the best way to get an idea of what this place is like is to jump on board the GSRC MX-5 and take a lap around the dry lake.
All right, we've got Giancarlo Lenzi in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Laguna Seca. Coming across the start-finish line, we hit turn 1, which isn't much of a turn so much it is a place to set your car up for the Andretti hairpin. And honestly, the hairpin is probably your best opportunity for a pass on the whole course. It's a big, heavy braking zone, but watch out. With it being downhill, it's easy to overshoot the first apex. Get the car turned and try to get the power down before you glance at that second apex. Then before you know it, you gotta swing the car to the left to set it for 3. This turn feels like it tightens on exit, so be careful not to get on the power too early. From there, it's just a little lift into 4, but this kink is extremely important. If you lose your speed on the exit, you might be vulnerable down into turn 5. It's not the best place for an overtake, but that doesn't stop guys from trying. Now, as you head into this uphill left-hander, it's gonna be critical to carry your momentum in the little MX-5. You certainly don't want to be too wide as you head into the notorious turn 6. It's going to be a light brush on the brakes, then snag the apex just right and let her track out. You can expect drivers who get this corner wrong to pay dearly. Once again, we continue to climb uphill, so momentum is key. Hold left and cross over to give yourself a nice straight braking zone into the corkscrew. Here the track absolutely disappears and you're going on memory of where the edges of the course are. If you manage to hit it right, you're thrown immediately into rainy curve. This long plunging turn has a very late apex, so swing it wide then cut in. From there you'll switch sides once more and try your best to use the banking of turn 10 to really carry your speed. After that, you approach the final hairpin of turn 11. This is another good place to attempt to pass, but you gotta be sneaky and catch your opponent off guard. Just be careful because the long run means they could pull an over-under on you. From there, it's just a matter of accelerating up the hill and finishing your lap around Laguna Seca.
And that was our friend Giancarlo Lenzi behind the wheel and Joe Peak on the mic with your GSRC lap guide in the global Mazda MX-5. Now, we've wrapped that all up, and Dawson, we've got some details to sort out here about this race today, and about 5 minutes left in qualifying. Why don't you think we run through that?
Absolutely. Well, most of these races, like the one today, are 45 minutes. We have 3 out of the 12 that will be 60. Each car has enough fuel for just over 30 minutes, so we will be seeing a pit stop at some point. There are no incident caps, and we're using the same rules for MPI as MWT. No quick repairs, so the car you come with is the car you're going to have to finish with, and the rolling starts do not separate by class. So MX5s, SRFs, and Skip Barbers, no matter what their time, they will all be mixed in together.
All right, Dawson. Now, if some of these, if you were with us just a couple hours ago and some of these names look familiar, well, that's because a lot of the guys from the MX5 World Tour are running here in this series as well. So, they, of course, both fall under that Asbury Motorsports banner, the QRS Sports Car Challenge. Everybody affiliated here, so they're using that, again, that MPI system. Now, as we cover qualifying here and we look at what's going on, it's Luke Whitten right now in his Spec Racer, in his Skippy. My bad. His Skippy sitting there on the provisional pole with a 135.2, and Fahim Antonitis, I don't think he's going to get him. It's 4 qualifying laps, and they've got their 4 in a 15-minute session, 4 laps. Anybody out on track here? Well, Kane Lasky still out there with a couple laps left in the Skippies, and I'm seeing Sonny Cancian still out there running right now. Marcelo Pajan sits there at the top of the MX5s with a 135.9, and boy, one's got to think that Sonny Cancian's probably got a little bit better in him than that 136.4.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you tuned in last week, you saw Sonny Cancian start at the back of the field and move his way all the way up to take the win. And you would think, talented of a driver as he is, I would assume he's going to be right with Marcelo near the end of the race.
And now looking at the Spec Racer Fords, Jason Perry sits on top there with his only 3 laps in, actually, and still out there. He's got the 137.3. David Gaspers has completed his 4 laps, and 137.6 was the best he could do. So right now that pole belonging to Jason Perry there in the Spec Racer Fords. I'm looking to see if any of them, the other ones, are still out on track, and no, that is it. So the field coming pretty close to being set here. Kane Lasky still out there digging right now. Sonny Cancian looking for one better here on his last lap now. We'll see what kind of run here Cancian can get. On board with him here. Cancian getting through turn 6 to lay the power down, get up that hill. Long climb up there to the corkscrew, isn't it, Dawson?
Yeah, absolutely. And now you're going to see just a little right and then to the left. Boy, look at that elevation change.
Right wheel off the ground as he came over the hump there. I think Sonny's on a flyer here. Got a good one going. Now the field, of course, a little light today. Everybody out running the Daytona 24. But these 17 had time to get here, or an off stint to get in this race. Cancian going to come across the line. And that'll put him on the pole. Also 135.7.
Wow.
Yeah, not bad. Just a little over 2/10 there over Marcelo Pajan. There's still a minute left, and I see Kane Lasky's he's wrapped up all of his laps there in his Skippy. Kane currently sitting, let's see, he is currently 5th in class. Dawson, the weather today, a good day for racing. It's clear. Sunny California weather, 70 degrees outside, about 80 degrees on track. Now, usually it's debris on this track that makes it a little more challenging. The weather should be playing into their hands today, don't you think?
Yeah, you want that ideal, enough grip, but you still want a little bit of heat. You can kind of build it up, and I think 80 degrees is right in that area, so it should provide plenty of racing. These drivers should have a pretty good feel for this.
Yeah, and they've been putting in practice here for about an hour in this 15-minute qualifying session. Looks like everybody just about ready to go. Qualifying has officially ended. Let's go to the grid now. See where everybody's starting today. All right, on the pole, it's going to be Luke Whitten. Fahim Antonitis there in second. Enzo Canta in his Skippy, going to start third. Sonny Canchin will start fourth there in his MX-5. Marcelo Pajan will be starting fifth in his MX-5. And we'll go back to Jared Irvin in his Skippy there. He'll start sixth. Kane Lasky, seventh. Rob Adams will be eighth. And in row 5, Michael Hafladaisen and Riley Rote, the third, there are 4 MX-5s today. So the third MX-5 down there in 10th. Dawson?
Jason Perry's going to be the ringleader of the SRFs. He's going to start 11th, right next to David Gaspers. Gary Wobel, the last Skippy on the grid, he'll start 13th. Angelo Fiorino, 14th. C. Love, 15th. Jerome or Svem, 16th. And rounding out the field, Richard Vallee in 17th.
Jeroen will forgive you for that. It's Jeroen Ursum.
Ursum, okay.
Yeah, that's right. And Jeroen's good friend of ours, been around for a long time, and Jeroen's got his sights set on a win today. Folks, if you've got that ticket, keep it close. I'm calling it now. No pressure, Jeroen. All right, everybody. It looks like everybody is on the grid here and just about ready to go. We've got the roof pace car going to lead them around this track. Now, one of the things rather unique to this track is its lack of trees and lots of sand. No shortage of sand here in this dry lake bed. That sand you're going to see get kicked up on this track. It will be a challenge to these drivers. Sometimes that dust cloud left behind can be a challenge just to get through if you're fighting side by side or have somebody right in front of you. Yeah, there's all that dirt right there offline. Yeah, it looks like they kicked up quite a bit in the practice session, Dawson, a lot of it on this track.
Well, you come off track just a little bit, and this is just a really cool feature that iRacing has brought in, all this debris and everything on the track. I think it's going to clear up a little bit as we see guys running around, kicking up the dirt, and carrying it a little bit away, but, the corkscrew, that's one of the places guys will run wide, and you'll see plenty of dirt in there later on in the race.
Well, it's going to be 3 Skippies battling 2 Mazdas there that will get the break up front here. And, well, some pretty tough customers there in Canchin and Marcelo Pajan. It should provide one exciting start. They'll be hot on the tail of those Skippies.
Yeah, only qualifying 4/10 behind them. And we know the Skippies maybe a little bit quicker than the MX-5s, but, boy, they'll be right there to battle it out.
Well, Sonny has hoped for an overall win in the past. It could be a good chance to get it today. We'll see. Certainly in a good position to fight from. We make our way through the corkscrew down the hill here, getting ready to go. Everybody going to tighten up. See them all coming down the hill here. They're going to get this field a little bit tighter. The pit entrance going to be right here off to the left after the right-hander. Here at turn 10. Here's the entrance to the left. You see the dotted line and the peel off. There he goes. Final turn. I think we've started. Green flag is out. Let's go. Go, go, go. Green flag. Luke Whitten on his way. Fahim Antonitis all over. I'm already pushing to the outside. Coming down to Andretti Hairpin. They are side by side heading in. Oh boy, almost contact there. Canta almost getting into Antonitis. Gives him another reminder. Hey, I'm here. Gotta be careful. Don't want to bend up those wings this early in the race. 29 laps to get through here. About that over this 45 minutes. Antonitis, good pace. Enzo Canta backs off just a little bit, keep a little bit safe distance. Back to Canchin. Canchin already on the move. Canchin is closed up here to the skippies. He's getting a run. Getting a run on Canta now.
Ducks out just for a little bit there.
Dawson, how did the Spec Racers get started?
Well, they're doing pretty good right now. In front, it's going to be Jason Perry. He was your ringleader, as I said, on the grid and in that Spider-Man car. Really cool-looking Spec Racer.
Spidey is back with us. Up front, things still the same here. Canta starting to pick it up a little bit here on Antonitis. Here in turn 10. Coming around to complete the first lap now. Luke Whitten going to make it to the turn first. Gets a nice exit off. Screaming up the straightaway here, and he will be your leader. Lap 1 in the books. Ends on board here with Pajan. Pajan looking here at the rear bumper of Sonny Canchin. Going to try and get this spot from him. I don't think it's going to happen. Not here early. Best thing Pajan can do right now, maybe save a little bit of fuel, follow Sonny around. They have certainly opened up a little bit of a lead on Kane Lasky. About a second back to Lasky. Lasky's got a nice break off the start, picked up a couple of spots. Finds himself now in 5th, just a little over a second back here from Pajan.
Yeah, plenty of a gap for Lasky to work with. But now, as you were talking about Sonny Canchin and Pagnon, they are teammates, but you'll see as this race goes on, they do not race friendly with each other. They're very competitive, and it's just a really cool battle to see. You'll definitely see it heat up later on.
Well, the Skippies have got a nice run here up the hill and down the corkscrew. That Skippy a little bit more nimble down that corkscrew, and that is certainly an area where they can pick up a little bit of time. Down the hill they come. Everybody doing a good job of keeping the car in the gray right now. Don't think we've seen any offs even here at the back. Boy, I'll tell you what, looks like Perry Gasper's battling really good back there in those SRFs.
Yeah, they've been pretty close. Right now, Perry just behind Riley Rote in that MX-5. Looks like maybe they're being held up just a little bit, but now you're going to see a move. Here we go. David Gasper's going to peek to the inside.
Got a little something going here. Ooh. Gasper's with a nice run there. He gets it on the inside. Going to get that position. Good job getting by Perry. Gasper's now up to the lead of this SRF field. It almost looks like Riley is a little bit in the way there. Gasper's trying to get a run here. All right, well, that sorted itself out. Doesn't look like Jason's going to push it right now. No reason to. You can push, but not too hard. Got to take care of the car. At least make it to the pit stop before you start making any decisions on how hard you're going to push. Don't let him get too far of the way, though. Don't let him get stuck here in the toe of Riley Rote and pull away from you. Jason going to have to get a little bit better here. They head back up the hill and on their way to the corkscrew. Man, it looks like up front here, Canchin, Pajan still stuck together. Dawson, these two just kind of following each other around. But boy, look what the Skippies have done. They got off to a really, really nice break. Find themselves over 2 seconds away from the MX-5s now. These three have gotten off to a good start. A bit of a train going. You can call 3 cars a train. I guess we've got an engine, a middle car, and a caboose, so that's a train. It qualifies.
Looks like Michael Hafeldason has called it a day. He got into a little bit of an incident, spun it off, got out in the sand, and now his day is over.
Wow, shame to see him pack it in so early and take it behind the wall like that.
Yeah.
Director might have found it here. Let's take a look at the replay. I didn't catch it. Actually, I did catch it. Yeah, he just slides off course and brings it into the pit. and then decides to really no contact there, just a bad slide. And sometimes you're just not feeling it. Maybe Halfletason caught a little bit out by this track, maybe not enough time to practice. Who knows? Could have been something real world there, interfering and getting into the mix, but he is gone. Halfletason will be the first one out, and right now stands to finish 17th in this race.
That is a really interesting point. This track, I've never seemed to be able to get a grasp on it. The corkscrew and all of it, it's a very tricky track. Not an easy beginners-like track on the iRacing service.
Yep. Pajan goes a little wide in turn 10. Still chasing Sonny Cancian. Might have been pushing a little bit hard there. He's decided to reel it back in, be a little patient. Still, Enzo Canta making a move here now. Let's pick that up. Oh, Canta around Antonitis. Very aggressive move there. Let's look at the replay. I think that's the best way to take a look at this here. There we go. He's setting up, coming up the hill. Tuck it right into the wall there, and going to go right to the inside and send it into the turn. That is a bold move, Cotton. Alcanta up to second, taking it away. Hey, sometimes, you got to be the hammer. Somebody's got to be the nail.
Well, you got to give us something to talk about. Can't just ride around forever. You got to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, we can't all wait to the pit stop, can we?
No.
All right. Well, that gap to the from the Skippies back to the Mazdas, it's still expanding just a bit, but not bad. Sonny and Marcelo still keeping good pace. Marcelo doing a good job to hang on. Sonny a bit of a tactician, but Marcelo seems to have excellent pace and good skill around this track. Just behind them, we barely talked about Kane Lasky. Kane in that fourth spot, and if he could just hang with these two, he's got a good chance to maybe find himself up there with those other spec racers here in just a little while. Let's look at the Skippies. I'm sorry, the Skippies. I'm getting my cars mixed up. Skippy, SRF. My bad. We got it. I promised, Dawson, we got it.
Well, we look at this SRF field, Gaspers and Perry now finally got around Rote, and it looks like them two are just kind of breaking away.
Yeah, it did take them a little bit of time there to clear Rote. We talked about that early. And Rote finally getting past and relegated back there to 11th overall. But guess what? He's still fighting for a podium spot. Jeroen Ursum still... he's back there quite a way, actually. Almost 10 seconds back there at Riley. But Jeroen, you know what? He's just one mistake away from being on the podium. So we'll see. We still have 35 minutes to go in this one. Jumping around, trying to find the action here. Yeah, it looks like Gary Woolbolt doing a good job right now, holding off Angelo Fiorino and C. Love. Those two actually in their own little battle. C's got pretty good pace. It's just about a tenth slower the last lap, so he's definitely got him here where he wants him. This position is important too. That's a podium spot right there in front of C. And you know what? I don't know if Gary Bolt's got the... I don't know if he's slow enough to be a factor here, Dawson. Looks like Gary's got decent pace to stay ahead of him right now.
Yeah, I think lap ago, Gary was in the middle of that fight, but he's kind of broken away in that number 7 machine and gained a pretty decent lead. So Gary coming the car, I guess, breaking in a little bit more here.
Yeah, we're still getting pressure up here. Gasper's still feeling it from Perry. That battle is not done. You know what? I'm looking up and down the board at the times right now, and I got to be honest with you. I mean, really, first back to 10th, just less than, or just over 2 seconds separate him. Really, it's just going to take one mistake here, and this could bunch this whole field back up like an accordion.
Well, and I think it could be as simple as missing a braking zone and getting into the sand. It's not like grass where you can maybe drive through it. The sand, there's not a lot of grip. It moves around. These cars do not like to drive in the sand, and one mistake there could end up being about 10 seconds.
Kane Lasky still having a good drive there behind Pajan and Sonny Canchin. Kane, like I said before, hanging on to the back of those two. Probably the best strategy he could play right now. He's really been left by his Skippy brothers up there, and this is a good play. Why don't we go ahead and move up front and check in on the overall lead of this race? And Luke Witten, Kanta have kind of pulled away from Antonitis just a little bit. Antonitis now sitting about almost 2 seconds behind Kanta. Kanta, though, still hanging on to the rear wing there of Luke Witten. Their time's really, really close, only separated by about a 10th. In fact, coming up the hill here, Kanta gets a little bit of a run at him. Going to break a little bit deeper down to the corkscrew. Yes, ooh, and a bit of an unsettling trip down there for Kanta. Gets off onto that curve to the right, causes a pretty big wiggle out of the car, but he has it still in control. Watch the hands here, Dawson. Gets the top, no problem, but when it's time to head back down to the right. Yeah. He had to catch it.
And that's a corner that it's really tough to try and push your car through there. It's such a rolling momentum type corner, and you try and push it a little bit and you'll end up spinning the car. The back of the car will want to go a little bit faster than the front of the car, and you'll get it sideways. It's just tough corner.
One of our viewers made an interesting comment, said the track looks like it was traded with brine. It's kind of funny. It is a messy track indeed. Nobody really had much trouble with it so far. Seen a couple of cars off in the dirt, but not our leaders, man. They are off to a great race here so far. And another comment I saw earlier, someone talking about Canchin and how he'll probably have just about a teaspoon of fuel left. I know he ran out of fuel on the cooldown lap in the MWT race, so Canchin always pushing the limit on that fuel. He has a number in mind, and he sticks to it. Pajan, though, gotta tell you what, gotta give the guy some credit. He right now has a pretty good idea of what Canchin's doing, and he's keeping it close. Kane Lasky's starting to fall off just a little bit, but he has an 8-second lead on his opponent, Rob Adams, behind him there in 5th in the Skippies. So Kane right now, his best bet, again, continue to hang on with these guys, hope something happens in the pit stop, and maybe get a podium finish away from this. Still a lot of laps go to here, Dawson.
Yeah, and we're just getting to that point here where you're starting to get into the area just about that 30-minute mark where you could potentially bring it into the pits here and make your pit stop, and you'd be able to make it the rest of the way through the race.
Bit of a lockup there from, I was watching Jason Perry, had a bit of a lockup coming down into the Andretti hairpin. He saves it, doesn't lose too much ground to Gaspers, but it does give Gaspers a little more cushion, about a half second right now. Riley Rote had to get on the binders just behind them. All he could see was what looked like Jason Perry running off track or into him, and he thought better of it. Safe move there for Riley. Again, Riley still holding on to his podium spot in his Mazda. And, right now with the battle going on between Kanchan and Pajan, that podium spot could turn into top of the podium for Riley Road. He plays his cards right. We got a pass for the lead going on, though. Kanta Witten trying to get it done up here. Kanta going to get by. Big move for Kanta coming up the front straight, down into the Andretti hairpin. He's got control of it now. Going to get a nice turn through here. We do have a replay. Let's check it out. Here we go. They make the turn out of 12. I'm sorry, out of 11. Adding turns to this track. We'll catch it from above out of turn 11. There we go. It just looks like, well, okay, there we are in 10. Then out of 11, that's where it really gets set up. Kanta just gets that inside there and gets a really, really nice tight exit off the turn and able to just throw the power down a little bit quicker. Gets a good run up the hill and takes it all the way down into the hairpin to take over the lead of this race. Now Kanta trying to put him down. Already dropped to almost a second, 3/4 of a second down. Witten losing touch quickly here. Jeez, was Witten holding them up, Dawson?
I'm starting to think so. And if you look at the practice times, Kanta was 0.2 faster on his best time rather than Luke Witten. So I wonder if that pass could maybe give Kanta that clean air and a chance to run away.
Wow, all of a sudden, things changed that quickly. One good exit out of the final turn and a great run up the straightaway. They've changed the face of this race. Kanta now your leader. Picking up those couple of spots to get there. Now Witten gets to follow for just a little bit. I wonder if this is, maybe Witten thinking about trying to save a little bit of fuel. I don't know about that, but you never know. I mean, strategy could be at play here, and that may be why he backed off.
Yeah, well, you would think you got to keep it within that second gap if you want to get into that draft. We know these skip barbers. If you've watched a lot of the races here on GSRC, these skip barbers love that draft, and there's plenty of a boost to gain from it in time and in fuel. But I think it's starting to slip right out of that little bubble that you get from these skippies.
All right, and we're still battling here. Gasper's still being chased by Jason Perry. I don't know if this battle is going to change before they get to the pit stop, but it's still one of the best battles we have on track. And Perry did a really, really good job to just keep Gasper's there in front of him. Not far in front of him, but right there at arm's length. I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think that's very important for Perry to do. You can't let Gaspers have any time to breathe. You got to keep that within that 0.5 gap, so he's always thinking about you. He'll be looking at his mirror. He'll be thinking about you. It'll affect all the braking zone. You can't let him relax for any bit.
Well, this is the part of the track right here where we've seen some runs made, and boy, Gaspers gets through there really hot, but Perry even hotter. I mean, he followed him right in there, and Perry runs it all the way out into the dirt. Pajan, trouble? Oh yeah, trouble for Pajan coming out of turn 11. Pajan spins it, loops it, noses it into the wall, and then pulls off and takes a tow. Here we go. We're back live. Okay. We're gonna try and find that replay for you. But Marcelo Pajan in the pit. We do have the replay. Here it is, Doss.
He had been following Kanchan here, brings it into the final turn, and there's a little bit. Is that AstroTurf? That's what it looks like. He just kind of slid on that AstroTurf.
Yeah, you don't want to get a couple wheels out on that AstroTurf. There's no grip there, and obviously he spins it and puts it around. Man, has to take that toe all the way in. one more time. We're going to watch it on board, and the end result, well, maybe what we call a pancake. Yeah, there's that turf. Boom. Yeah, that's a wall. That's a tank slapper right there. And he's going to pull off right here and then take the toe. I guess maybe that wheel was not pointing in the right direction. Hey, back live, though. Perry making his move on Gaspers, heading down the corkscrew. Oh, what a move by Perry. Perry gets Gaspers going through the corkscrew, gets ahead of him, heading to turn 11. Boy, that brought Riley Road up, too. Riley Road right in this now. We've got a replay of this pass because we did miss it, folks. Here they go up the hill. Jason Perry all over Gaspers. And Perry right here going to take advantage of a little bit of a slide there from Gaspers and take the position away. When we get back live here in just a moment, the two are still going at it. Gaspers fighting back, trying to take it back away from Perry, and he does. Gaspers with a great move, gets up along Perry, gets the position to the inside, and then just shuts the door on him. Gaspers back to the lead, and that quickly, it was over. I mean, poor Jason Perry didn't even get to lead a full lap there, Dawson.
No, he didn't. And you're going to get right back to that position where Perry, he's right within a couple tenths of Gaspers. Maybe Gaspers gets on the brakes late a little bit in that corkscrew again.
I think we are starting to see some scheduled pit stops. Jeroen Ursum came in, took his stop. You know what, though? Actually, I'm seeing Jeroen was early. It was 7 laps ago, actually. I missed that. I wonder if he had some trouble earlier. Maybe he had the qualifying set in the car when we got started. Not sure. But that, pit stop 7 laps ago. That means he's probably going to need another one to get this finished. I don't think he would have been in the window there that many laps ago.
I tell you what, Kane Lasky was able to get around Sonny Canchin a couple laps ago, and just as I was talking, Rob Adams was able to get around Sonny as well. So Sonny, he lost his the guy he was racing against, Marcelo Pugan, and now he's starting to drop time a little bit.
Oh, Rote is spinning. Pitting, I'm sorry. Riley Rote's in. Actually, Rote's in. Valley's in. Valley just got into his pit. And yeah, is Valley taking tires there? It looks like he may have been. Don't know what the call is there.
Maybe some damage even on the rear of the car.
Maybe. Most are not taking tires, though, I can tell you that. Boy, really slow on the track. Richard Valley still trying to recover from an off. He got hit from behind and spun off the track. Looks like he's trying to make his way back to, I'm sorry, he is back in the pit. Get live, Sean. There we go. Valley was involved in an incident, got hit from behind, and now finds himself in the pit. That car in there for repair. A lot of damage on the rear end, actually. Don't know if he's going to be able to make it back out. Trying to pick that up here on a replay. Don't know if we will. And there it is. Yes, there. Riley getting clipped from behind all the way out to the tire barrier. Ouch. Tough off there for Richard Valley. All right, 20 minutes, and still waiting on pit stops from a lot of these drivers. Riley Rote at the lead of the ones that have come in. Rote still sitting, is sitting in second place now after Pajan's problem. And Jeroen Ursum now in the podium spot there in third. Both drivers have pit. Riley is going to be okay to the finish. Jeroen, boy, it's sure going to be close. He pit about almost 9 laps ago, and I just don't know if that was in the window. Up front, though, this race still belongs to Enzo Canta. Canta. And right now, Luke Whitten can't catch him.
Yeah, no, Luke has now dropped from about 8/10 now to over a second behind Kanta. So we're going to have to see if he can maybe battle that time back. I think the other battle that's going to shape up here in a couple laps will be Kane Lasky and Fahim Antonitis. I think Lasky might have a chance to gain a little bit of time here. Last lap, Antonitis was faster by 0.5 of a second. So maybe a good pit stop by Lasky. He could be battling Antonitis for that final podium spot.
Yeah, Fahim fighting some wing damage on his Skippy, and so is Kane Lasky. Both have about the same amount of damage on their wings, and that has both of them at a disadvantage. Downforce, certainly a big help at this track. You don't want to be caught without it. Could mean a long race. Certainly why these two are now off pace to Kanta and Whitten up front. Let's go back to Jason Perry, of course, still chasing. David Gaspers, he had his moment of glory there in front. David took it away from him. This has been a good battle since the green flag dropped. See what kind of pit strategy these two are on board with Jason Perry. There's Spidey in the seat. The Mother's Bridge. Heading down through there. Turn 5. Turn 6 is one of my favorite turns here at this track. Where you hit this just right, it's a thing of beauty. You miss it. You really miss it. There's a lot of sand out there to the right. Those SRFs really, really tight through there. Nothing from Jason Perry, though, up the hill. Not able to push it. It was Gaspers that made a mistake where Perry was able to take advantage of it down through the corkscrew. Not that time. Perry giving good chase, but nothing there. Gaspers has the upper hand. All right, so we haven't talked to him, but we're going to bring him on real quick. Joseph, pit stops, they loom right now. It's still an open pit road. Any thoughts on when we might see them come in?
Well, seeing the likes of Riley come in, I shouldn't expect it to be too long, with sort of 15 minutes left to go in the race. But yeah, next couple of laps, we should see some guys in. Also, to point out, Richard Valley is still in the pits. Doesn't seem to have the damage fully repaired yet, so his race has pretty much come to a halt.
Now, the pit exit here can be pretty tricky, can it? The way it spills right up back onto the track.
Yeah, for sure. You've got to watch that inside wall and make sure you don't come onto the track, because the cars are going to be coming past, as we've seen, prime overtaking zone going into turn 1 and 2.
All right, buddy, and we'll get back to you here when they come on in. Kanta still in control, still being followed pretty closely by Luke Whitten. Whitten's had a good drive today. Kanta really, I'll tell you what, man, gonna have to watch himself. Whitten, it looks like he's ready to strike at any moment.
Well, we saw Kanta be able to make that pass into that one braking zone. Maybe Whitten's eyeing that place up there, or maybe even turn 1.
Yeah, maybe Kanta's been, he obviously, maybe he learned, how do I get this out? He learned a little something there. That's what I wanted to say, and maybe he's got it in his pocket waiting to pounce here again. Words were hard to find right there, Dawson. Sometimes it happens, buddy.
Oh, all the time. I tell you what, as the race goes on, and I think these drivers, they definitely get better. You learn the track a little bit more, and also this track gets rubbered in. But that is a big part, I think, as a driver. You see what guys are doing around you, and you're able to try new things. And I think Luke Whitten's going to definitely, that's a big one right there, where he can maybe outsmart Kanta or outdrive him.
Let's go to Kanchan. Ooh, Kanchan with a scary moment there, going to the corkscrew side by side with Rob Adams. Oof. Boy, they almost made contact at the top of the hill there. Oh, Joseph, what do you got?
Fiorino and Love have both come into the pits, and Love has jumped Fiorino by the looks of things. Love seemed to have a bit of damage, but they didn't repair it, so he's going to continue on with the slight damage on his car.
Okay, so the dominoes on pit lane are starting to fall. Good stuff. Thanks. We'll get back to you here in just a moment when we get some other cars coming in.
Oh,
Man,
Jason Perry. Ooh, we have more.
Yeah,
Boy.
Love bobbled coming out of pit road, and he's under attack now. But yes, Perry with a big spin back there. Off track, does not make any contact. We do have a replay of that. Yeah, he got in trouble coming out of turn 6. That was one of those, I was talking about it earlier, one of those things about turn 6, man. If you nail it just right, it's a thing of beauty. If you miss it, it can hurt. Now, he went off to the left. You're going to see him real lucky not to nose it into that tire barrier there. That's an ender. For a faster car, that's an ender right there. The Spec Racer Ford saved him on that trip around. And Jason back to the power, still sitting in second place in the Spec Racer Fords. But he has totally lost touch with David Gaspers now. Boy, and now we've got a train going here. Canchen. All right, it was Rob Adams was right in front of Canchen, and Adams peels off into the pit lane. Canchen now has C Love in front of him, and just up in front of him a little bit farther, Angelo Fiorino. Those two again in the pit. Joseph, I see somebody else coming down pit lane right now. Who do you got?
Yeah, so as you said, Rob Adams into the pit lane. Just trying to pick up on who else that is. Give me 2 seconds.
It looks like Rob is away and on his way out of the pit lane.
Rob Gaspers is also in to the pits in his Spec Racer Ford. Again, slight damage on the rear of the car, just like Fiorino, but not sure whether he'll repair it or not. Looks pretty similar to the damage that Fiorino had, so shouldn't be affecting him too much.
Well, Jason Perry is going to stay out on track and take that position. So Perry back to first in the Spec Racer Fords as he decides to stay out. Gaspers, Woolbolt both in the pit. Woolbolt in his Skippy. Cantor going to go around at least one more time. He is past the point of no return. Gets around Riley Rote. Down into the Andretti hairpin. Leader has dropped Luke Witten now by 1.3 seconds. Witten got to get around Riley Rote clean here. Picks him up at a good spot. I see Canchen in. Canchen's in. Sonny decided to bring his MX-5 down the pit lane. It's a long ride down there. These pit deltas for the Mazda, it looks like it's been about 35 seconds.
Maybe a good chance that we see Jason Perry bring it in this time as well. No, it looks like he might stay out this time.
Canchen's rolling.
No, Perry brings it in.
All right, Perry going to give up the ghost there. Perry had about what? Well, you know what? Perry had a pretty good lead on Gaspers going in. I think he's going to be fine to pull away, still in the lead. Something happened with Sonny coming out of the pit lane there. I think we picked something up. I think he might have made a mistake, and he does. He overshoots it coming down the pit lane out into the dirt. Going to lose a lot of time. We've got this on the replay. Again, we talked about the tough exit here at Laguna Seca. Sonny coming down the hill here. It looks like he maybe just a little bit too much speed. Slides on that dirt. Almost comes back out on track. Does a good job of reeling it back in and getting out. But that cost him time. Riley Road a full, what we get? Riley Road is now 32 and a half seconds behind him. I'm not going to help Riley a ton, but it helps him out some. But what that has done is left Sonny all alone on track, because the next nearest car is Rob Adams and his Skippy, 7.4 seconds ahead of him. So right now, the end of this race for Sonny is going to be all about keeping that car in the gray and clean to the start-finish line. If he has any kind of problem, man, Riley Road will be there to pick it up and gain a little bit more time. But your top 6 right now, all Skippies. Our leaders, Fahim Antonitis, Kane Lasky now finds himself in second, have not come in. Enzo Cantor was in. So was Luke Whitten. Jared Irvine still out there needing a pit stop. So 3 cars remain. We do think Jeroen Hersum's going to have to come in one more time. Not certain, but it's likely. We'll leave it at that. I do see Richard Valley made it back out on track after a long pit stop for repair. So Richard back out there. Looks like he's 6 laps down from the Spec Racer Fords. And here comes Fahim Antonitis in the pit. And Kane Lasky going to follow him. Looking for clean pit stops here. All right, Kent has already gone by. Kent right back to first. And boy, that's going to be a hard thing to pick up. Luke Whitten still lurking in the shadows. Luke only 1.5 seconds behind. Can certainly get this done. Antonitis now down and away, back out on track. And Lasky making his way out. Jared Irvine is in. And that's it. Irvine on the jack, down and away. Ooh, is that C Love? No, that's C Love right there. Who's it? One of the Spec Racers there spun. Dawson? Was that Angelo Fiorino spun it coming out? It was. We're going to go to replay here. And actually, Fiorino wasn't coming out of the pit. He was just coming down the hill. Let's see what happened here. Dawson, looked like he locked him up there.
Yeah, man, that tough break there, and he just came right across Kane Lasky. Lasky trying to exit the pits. Close call.
Yeah, it was definitely a close call. Well, up front, you know what? Why don't we do a rundown here real quick? With 6.5 minutes left, Enzo Canta is the man in the lead. Luke Whitten 1.5 seconds back in second. Fahim Antonitis, he is 13 seconds back from the leader, has a podium spot in hand. Third, Kane Lasky in fourth. Rob Adams in fifth. And you've got Jared Irvine there in sixth. That's your top 6. Skippies, why don't you take the MX-5s there real quick, Dawson?
Well, Sonny Canchin right now, he sits 7th overall, but he will be leading the MX-5s with a big lead back to Riley Road. He'll get a podium out of this, but 8th overall. Then you have to go all the way back to Jeroen Hersum. He is in 12th currently, but he will get a podium finish because Marcelo Pagan had to call it a race early.
All right, and then we'll take a look at the Spec Racer Fords, and Jason Perry still has that lead. A great battle early between him and David Gaspers, but it belongs to Jason now, and David Gaspers sits down second in class. C Love looking at a podium finish right now. All he's got to do is keep Angelo Fiorino in the mirror, and so far, not bad. 3.8 seconds back. Fiorino sitting there in fourth, and then Richard Valley, after taking about a 9-minute pit stop to repair some damage, Richard out there wheeling it around and dead set on a top 5 finish. Like you said, Pajan and Hafeldazen really are our only casualties today. Laguna Seca has been pretty kind to these boys.
Yeah, I was expecting there to be maybe not as many retirements, but a couple more incidents. So far, the driver's doing a great job on keeping their cars clean. I mean, the track's been plenty dirty. We've seen sand all over the place, but overall, a really nice job by these guys.
And just for overall position, there's really, I mean, we've got a battle. It's between a Skippy and a Spec Racer Ford, and I know Gary Wobolt's had a bit of a rough race, got some damage to the side pod and to the wings, but he is giving chase to Jason Perry, and fun watching him try here. But just about 4 minutes left to go. I estimate that's maybe about 3.5 laps, and you can tell Gary, we're on board with him here, struggling with the car just a bit. Like I said, it's a little beat up, but it's still chugging away, and he's actually got a shot here to get around Jason Perry before this race is over. It's Skippy a little bit more nimble, even in his damaged state, a little bit more nimble than the Spec Racer Ford. One of the things you're seeing a lot of here on this track, though, is look at all the rocks kicking up, all the rocks and sand kicking up on your screen there. These drivers hearing that, feeling that as it hits the windscreen, and these vehicles are all open cockpit vehicles, so stuff flying all over the place. When you're in the cockpit, it's certainly it's quite an adventure.
Yeah, we're going to see Gary Wobolt going to make a move maybe here around the outside. Perry, see, no, he's going to bring it into the braking zone pretty late, but Wobolt able to make the pass for the overall 8th position.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
This is fun to watch. In the closing minutes of the race, you fought hard the whole race. You hate to give up a position to anybody, even if it's not in your class, so to speak.
well, I think Perry, looking at Gaspers has been closing that gap slowly. I'm not sure if there's going to be enough time for him to do it, but we saw Gaspers going into the pits. He was ahead of Perry by plenty, but it looks like Gaspers took a lot longer pit stop, maybe to repair or something like that. But now it looks like maybe he's closing that gap. We might see a move there near the end of the race.
Now, race fans, don't be alarmed by what you're seeing on screen. It's not the final lap. I'll let you know what it is. We still got a little bit of time left here, just over 2 minutes. Actually, you have about 2 laps left to go. Our leader still Enzo Canta. It's starting to pull away just a little bit here from Luke Whitten, but Canta's got to deal with David Gaspers right in front of him. Again, Whitten not that far back, but Canta's got to be a little careful here. Don't want to get tangled up with Gaspers. Luke Whitten is in striking distance. We're going to come across the line, and it's going to be, I've got 2 to go right now on this one. It is not the white flag or the final lap like it says on screen. Timing and scoring trying to correct itself now. And Gaspers lighting up the tires back there, trying to get the car stopped, coming through the hairpin. Great to see all those cars on track together. But Canta now got, he's got Jason Perry just in front of him. Canta he's still got to watch himself. Got to be careful with these cars, trying to pass him. Don't want to get held up because, again, Luke Whitten right back there, still with an outside chance. Oh, boy, 3 wide. And they sort that out before they get to the turn in. Perry gets out of the dirt, reels it back in.
Wobolt's just going to let him go by.
Just like that, Gaspers has caught Jason Perry. Luke Whitten screaming through it, just stuck there in the middle of him, on board with Gaspers. Whitten hot on the tail of Jason Perry in the middle of this battle. Whitten dropping back even further, though, losing his chance to fight with Canta. Canchin. I got it. Whitten finally able to clear those Spec Racer Fords. Canta, though, off and running. 1 lap to go. Oh, Perry. Gaspers fighting across the line. Made a little bit of contact. Catch these 2 coming down to the hairpin. Oh, Gasper's lighting him up again there. Trying to hold position. Perry, right there. Can't do anything. He gets by. Gasper's in the lead. Making a move, a last lap move. This is for the win for Gasper's and the Spec Racer Fords. Got to get up front, though. Follow Kanta as he brings him around on this final lap. Kanta got Riley Rote in front of him. I don't know if he'll catch him. Rote, obviously, down, out of position, but in second place in the Mazdas. Here goes Kanta climbing the hill one last time. Gasper's, Perry still keeping it close, still having a good battle back there. Oh, Kanchan off course. Sonny Kanchan spins it out of turn 11. The leader of the MX-5s, but we'll go back to Enzo Kanta coming right up on the rear bumper here. Riley Rote as they get to turn 11. Rote going to get out of the way. Kanta going to make that last left turn. Keep it on the track and almost out of the kitty litter there. And there he goes. Enzo Kanta with your big win today. Gives a little wave when he gets across the line. Congratulations, Enzo Kanta. Luke Whitten with a big second place finish. Fahim Antonitis. Okay. Gasper's is across. Going to win it there out of turn 11 up the front straightaway. Your big winner, David Gasper's in the SRFs. Riley Rote already comes across, but that's going to be a second place finish for him. Sonny Kanchan, if he can complete this final lap, will come across the winner for the MX-5s. There's Kanchan getting to the top of the hill. Down through the corkscrew one more time. Remember, this lap a bit interrupted for Kanchan there as he had a spin going to the white flag coming out of turn 11. Let's see if he can keep it together here for a finish. One more turn for Sonny Kanchan. And the Australian going to make this left-hander. And this time he does it without spinning the car. Up the straight. And another win for Sonny Kanchan. Well, actually, first win for Sonny here today in this one. So congratulations, Sonny. And he's going to spin it there after he gets across the line. All right. So that completes the race. Everybody in and across the line. We're going to take a quick break, come back for some interviews, and wrap this thing up. Thanks. All right, and we are back here in the QRS Sports Car Challenge Series from Laguna Seca. Yeah, the old dry lake out here in California. Dawson, what a race we just had in store for you. Why don't we get to the results here real quick and run it down for everybody? Tell them where they finished. And that's going to be Enzo Canta in his Skippy. They're in the lead and your winner today. Great run from Canta, and he'll enjoy that win. Good victory and good celebration tonight, I'm sure. Luke Whitten finishes second. Fahim Antonitis, they're in third. Kane Lasky had a little bit of trouble and winds up fourth, but had a good solid run. Rob Adams in fifth. Jared Irvine taking home sixth. And that is your top six Skippies. Sonny Canchin going to win in the MX-5s. Riley Rote actually going to wind up with a second place finish in the MX-5s. And then rounding out your top 10 or your top two from the Spec Racer Fords. And that's going to be David Gaspers and Jason Perry, who, let's just say, had a very spirited battle today.
Gary Wobold gonna finish 11th. He'll be the last Skippy on the track. Jerome Ursum gonna finish 12th. He will get a podium finish along with Riley Rote and Sonny Canchin in the MX-5. C Love Angelo Fiorino gonna finish 13th and 14th. Richard Vallee, we saw him. He had to fix a little bit of damage. He'll end up in 15th. And then Marcelo Pagan and Michael Haffeldace in this race is only two casualties. They will finish 16th and 17th.
All right, and that is the field. And, well, we have a very excited Enzo Canta to talk to. Enzo, congratulations. You almost made it look a little too easy today.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. Can you hear us?
Okay. Sometimes my microphone doesn't work well. I was not sure at all to do an easy race like this, but it could be. It was not so easy as you can see. Because in the practice I was the only one who break the 150 and I did the 149, but in the qualifying Luke was fast as always. Fahim in the same way, and I think in the first lap I had a 0 pair contact with Fahim that probably damaged my front wing a little bit, so I think I lost a little bit of speed in straights. And I did a very aggressive attack on Fahim. I don't know if it was completely fair. I was a little bit wide, but no contact. I have to say thanks to him because he left enough room. But unexpectedly he lost the pace, and I was with Luke alone. In the first part of the track, Luke was faster than me, but he lost so much time in the two blind corners on the right, the first blind corner on the right in Laguna before the chicane, and that was the part of the track in which you could make the lap. So I managed to pass him, but I was not so sure to put him out of my draft because he was very fast. I was pushing very hard all the laps. So when he was out of my draft, I did the pit, and then I pushed that until the end because in the first part of the track in T1, T1, T2, he was very fast. I lost a bit of time, and I have to recover the gap in the next blind corners on the left. So very. It could seem easy, but not so easy at all because I had to be concentrated all the time, and then I don't know if you know, but concentration is my most important trouble. I sometimes I am distracted and I lose races when I am alone in front.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, buddy. Listen. You're spending a lot of time up here in the booth here with us lately. I think I'm going to have you bring your own chair, and you can come hang out with us from time to time. I'll tell you what, you have any friends or family that you'd maybe like to say something in Italian to, and your friends' family watching?
They are sleeping in this moment.
Yeah, but they're gonna watch. They're gonna watch the replay. So go ahead and give them a shout out. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't know if you know, but my girlfriend, the mother of my son, will do 40 years old the next week, and I have to do a little trip with her. So if you want to say happy birthday o buon compleanno, you can say it. And Elda, ti saluto, ti ringrazio per la tua enorme pazienza. Ora stai dormendo, quando vedrai la gara sentirai queste parole. Tanti auguri per la prossima settimana. I said she's so patient. I said thank you for your patience, and and happy birthday.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, listen, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you. Boys, that is the beautiful language right there, Italian. I'll tell you what, you want to pick up a hot date, speak a little Italian. You'll get him right under your arm. Trust me, it works every time. Thank you, Enzo.
Thank you for the interview. As always, if you want to learn some Italian, you can use me as a teacher when you want. I'm here for you. No problem.
There you go. Enzo Canta throwing it out there. He's willing to teach a little bit. So we thank Enzo for his time today and putting on a great show for us. It does sound like it actually was a little bit of work for him there, Dawson.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an interesting point, the whole concentration thing. And, you sit here and you start driving, you get out in front. He makes a great point. You kind of start to lapse until you make a mistake, then you kind of snap back into it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to snap right out of it. But before we do, we'd like to thank everyone at the Quality Racing Syndicate for organizing this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We'd also like to say thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcast that you can see on our screen now in that slick new graphic. Now, the original music that gives you every GSRC production that unique flavor and feel is thanks to Eric at Coleman Case of the Lawn. It's right there on screen. That's how you catch them and get a hold of them for more of their great music, Dawson.
The Asbury Motorsports Sports Car Challenge Series returns Saturday, January 27th from the big track at Suzuka. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you will join us. For more information about GSRC, your best bet is www.globalsimracingchannel.com. Subscribe to our YouTube page, and we're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel.
If you haven't subscribed to that YouTube page, just do it. You're watching us. The button's right there. It says subscribe. 5.7K. Let's get to 6. Let's do it before the first quarter of the year is over. Let's do it before January is over. Tell everybody that's watching the Super Bowl, when you go to that Super Bowl party, tell them, hey, subscribe to GSRC. On behalf of Dawson, our pit reporter, Joseph Ringrose, our director, Joe Peak, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching today. So now it's time to put a lock on the gate, and we're going to run off to have a little fun storming the castle for old buddy Soup. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.